Hello, everyone who is already joining us. We welcome you again to another edition of In Conversation with Susan Eyo-Ikpe. And today's promises to be a very interesting one, especially for those who are in the communication and media business. Because I have one of the most outstanding media entrepreneurs as our guest today. It's a very young man. Well, I won't call him young anymore because when I met him, he was a very young man, but no longer as young as he was back then. My guest this evening is someone who has shown that passion can, when you put your passion into something, it always gets you results. I met him when he was starting out in the media, and you could see the passion in him. And it's not surprising that he has achieved all that he has achieved right now. My guest this evening is no other person than Chude Jideonwo. He is the co-founder of the Future Project, publisher of Why Nigeria, Why Africa. He's multitasking when it comes to media matters. I think it would be better for me to leave him to be the one to tell us a lot more about himself and what he does that has gotten him all the accolades that he has gotten at such a young age. Today, both of us are going to be talking on the new era of communication. Yes, new era of communication and where the media stands today. I'm a media practitioner, so having to hear from a younger generation of media personalities who are doing the business of communication in a different way is something that I'm actually looking forward to seriously this evening. Once again, welcome to everyone who's joined us this evening. Again, my name is Susan Eyo-Ikpe. I'm reaching you from Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, and from the platform of Glam and Essence magazine. We're just waiting for our guests to join in before we get this live chats on. So for all those who have joined this evening, I say thank you for joining us. And I promise you it's going to be an exciting and eventful time together. So we're just waiting to connect with Chude. Well, I'm so happy to have you on today. Best and foremost, let me introduce you to everyone who is watching, because we should have started at 5 o'clock, but of course you know how these things are like. You're supposed to start at a particular time and then technology just mess you up. But hey, we got to do this. Everyone here watching today is sharing this moment that I'm having with Chude Jideonwo. He's a Nigerian lawyer, he's an entrepreneur, he's a media journalist, he's all things rolled together. But more than anything, he's a successful entrepreneur with a passion for communication, for things to do with communication. Fantastic. So Chude, I won't do justice to this thing, but that if I don't ask you to let's go back to the very beginning for a lot of people to even understand why I'm having to have this conversation with you. When we first met, you were a researcher for New Dawn with Fumi. And at that point in time, I really want to know where your mind was at that time when you ventured into the business of communication.
It's an interesting question, but there was really nothing but the fact that I loved the media. I remember watching New Dawn and thinking, I want to be on this show. It's so joyful. So on the set of With Chude, for instance, I'm always about, this place must be joyful. We are having fun. We're creating an experience. It's not boring. This is not IBTV or something. So for me, it was, I saw the joy in the media and I wanted to be part of creating those kinds of environments. I always say that, New Dawn used to have this Christmas show, and you were part of it, so but it was so joyful. Everybody was inside. Yinka Davis, Lumide, Yinka Ejabi, everybody, Tunde Kelani, and to be so happy. And I thought, you know what? I want to be part of creating something this special. And for me, when I would see different, maybe I'd read. I started doing magazines because I would read Vanity Fair, and Vanity Fair would make me so happy, and I would think I want to create something like Vanity Fair. Or I would see the Encomium Black Ball, and I'd be like, I want to create an event like this, or the Disney Awards. So for me, it's watching these things and seeing these things. They touch something in me. There was something that resonated deeply. I'm like, I want to do that. I love doing that. I want to be a part of that. And I think that's what made me decide that this was going to be a career path.
Okay. At the point you veered into other things that you also started. You work with other people on different platforms too.
Yes.
And how did all of that? Looking at the phases that you had to go through, how did it prepare you for what you are now doing? For what the things that you now ended up doing much later, setting up your own magazine, having a project, that has to do with building leadership and stuff like that. How did all those that journey for you? How did it help to groom you in readiness for what you ended up doing?
It's really because I did so much. I was thinking to somebody yesterday. I was watching Regina Askia doing an interview, and I said, I did an interview with Auntie Susan for Regina Askia many years ago. I was just thinking about it the other day, and that she gave you an exclusive. And it was the first time she was talking to Nigerians about what she was going through. And so I've done all these things. Some of it was because I was hustling, just trying to succeed. Some of it was because there were so many things I enjoyed doing. So I have this, I really have, in fact, more experience than people know that I have, because I did a lot of things. And
I'm even amazed because sometimes I actually call you up for certain guidance in some areas. I haven't been in the media for over 3 decades. I still, found that, there was so much to learn from this person, who I saw stepping into that business at the time I had reached the point in journalism.
Yes.
But let me also ask you this. I also noticed that you had this passion for, young people, wanting to see them excel. And I think that's the reason why you set out to do the future project.
Yes, the future project, yes.
How has that been for you so far? And what when you look back at when it started and where you are at with it now, what's the feeling that you get about today's youth, really?
Yeah, it's remarkable because I was just thinking to myself, I think what has happened is young people have begun to achieve even greater things at younger and younger ages. I was thinking the other day that when we started doing the Future Awards in 2006, came up with the idea in 2005, it was even remarkable to see a young person achieving something at 31 or at 30 or at 29. And I think that my own story inspired me. It was that I had all these visions of things I could do, and to just see other young people who were doing the kind of things I was inspired by. Again, I wanted to tell those stories. And so for me, it's to see that, and again, it's just like we felt that there was something happening. What I've realized is that I'm blessed with, I like the fact that I can sense when things are about to happen. And sometimes there's no
when things are about to happen.
Yes. And there's no evidence for it. I'm just going with my instinct. But that time I just thought something's about to happen with young people. Again, it's easy for people to think about it now, but at that time there was nothing like youth marketing in Nigeria. There were no youth segments in companies. There was, youth was not a specialized demographic, but we thought that there was something happening with the young people. And so, and that over the years, that has now that thing that we felt 15 years ago has become bigger and bigger. If anything has happened with young people, is that they're even accomplishing those things at 24, 27, 28. Sometimes we are doing a training in one of our companies, and the people that we are getting to come and teach are 25, because at 25 they're already doing their master. They want 22. So I'm like,
wow,
it's so fast. Things are changing so fast. It's truly inspiring. I continue to be inspired every year.
Okay, most people. Let me just say to those who are watching right now, Chude has been listed by Forbes among the 40, right? 40 under 40. I think it was Business Day that gave you 30 under 30.
The
You
Forbes
were
of
listed
30
amongst that.
40 over under 40. Yes.
Wow. When you saw your name, Chude, when you saw your name on those lists, on the two lists I just mentioned, how did it make you feel?
Well, I mean, I felt proud. I can't even lie about that. Like, recognition is always a good thing. Especially, I mean, so I was telling somebody the other day that I mean, again, and you know, people always think that the media is more corrupt than it is. So people think that every award people receive, they've paid for it. And I've been in many organizations, I know that people don't pay for anything. But I don't lobby. I mean, I don't even.
But some people, but that's not far from the truth, though. I hope you know.
Not far from the truth, yes. But it's not. So for me, it's that I've never even thought about it or campaigned for anything. Or I mean, usually when people nominate me for things and ask me to campaign, I don't. Not because I find it beneath me, but just because I like to be surprised by other people's recognition. I like to feel like without me doing anything, other people thought this person deserves this. And when
Yeah.
it's also when it's
Yeah.
organizations that have rigorous standards, it makes me feel even better because I always joke that there's a movie, Iron Lady by Meryl Streep. I think Meryl Streep was the one that did Iron Lady. And she said in one scene, one's life must matter, one's life must mean something. And I like the idea of making impact that people appreciate. You know, I'm one of those people. I don't. I try not to crave people's validation. I try because it's difficult. But generally, I like goodwill. I like when people are inspired or impressed by what you do.
Yeah.
And so when those things happen, I'm like, thank you for that. I appreciate that. I love that. You know, I love to see that people think that the work you're doing matters and makes a difference. So for me, those lists, especially because I mean, I remember the Forbes thing was in the morning, people were sending me text messages. And like, what happened? What happened? What happened? And they're like, oh, you were just listed on Forbes. I'm like, really, 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 really. You know, and I went on, you know, and I thought, oh, wow, this is actually impressive. That this small people can. So
Wow.
I'm always excited to see those things.
Okay. I want to ask you. You know, I mean, it's been an experience for a lot of people within the media to see the changing face of the media. For a lot of people who are like into the print, suddenly they're realizing that being in the print is not the way to go right now. They've seen an era where from communicating by, you know, putting information in newsprints and radios and TV, now what you're seeing is a lot of people are also more like journalists on their own too, with their own platforms using the social media. So did you ever be, you know, for someone who looks beyond the times that we're in, back then, did you know or feel that there was going to be this sudden change and transition from what was traditional to what is the new form of communication now?
No. You know, it's one of the weirdest things because I knew it. You know, one of the things that's why when I talk to young people, I ask them, don't spend your time trying to be like older people. Try and create your own path. So for me, I could never have believed that all these mighty platforms would one day be upstage. I refuse to allow myself.
It's so disheartening though, especially when I mean you've put so much to build those brands, and then suddenly they are no longer relevant in the scheme of things.
Yes, so it's.
I don't want to mention name, but that's how painful it can be for anyone who's been a part of building that.
Yes, and so for me, and also I know the kind of work that goes into those things, the kind of passion.
Oh yeah.
Blood. So I refuse. Now I'm very different. Now I adopt change very fast. I don't fight change. I don't now because I realize, oh my God, all that time that I wasted. Now I understand that the mighty can fall at any time, and it's the nature of life. Because even the mighty that we met, they were not the mighty in their. They defeated the mighty in their own times too. So life
exactly.
Yes. So I've gotten to be fascinated these days. Then I didn't expect it, or I didn't think it was going to. I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but I thought it would be in the past.
You didn't expect that it was going to be so fast.
No.
Just when you're trying to get the grip with this, something else comes, and then you are moving from them. I remember, I remember too when the phones, the era of the mobile phone came, and one day you were using a particular brand, before you knew it, another brand came with another kind of a feature that made this other feature irrelevant, and that, so it's like it's so fast.
Yes.
So you're wondering where would the media in Nigeria really fit into the scheme of things, because it's like some of those practitioners are still not getting a grip of the fact that the times are changing.
Yes, and so inevitably they will die, sadly. But it's just the nature of things. Because, and again, you know, I appreciate what innovation is hard. I mean, I was telling someone that I think that I've been incredibly lucky. I mean, again, now the future was 15 years.
Tell me about it.
It was 15 years, and it has been relevant every of those years of the 15 years.
Yeah.
But it's not because I am so confident or so arrogant. I'm constantly meeting with young people. If my team members know, I'm obsessed with what is happening at the moment. And like there's this, I mean, I'm telling you, on Sunday, I was on YouTube for the whole day watching the video of some young influencer, Tomike, and just thinking, this Tomike lady, what makes her tick? Why do young people love her? You know, how is she connecting? How does she have so many? So I am in that space where I'm constantly excited and interested in what is, why are people consuming the things they're consuming? And so for people who don't do, that's the nature of reality. That's the reason why, you know, these days trying to pivot into TV with Arise, you know, trying to experiment.
But you know, even then, Chude, what I've also realized is that even though we're, you know, the traditional players are trying to diversify into the areas that is like the new players are, there's still something missing that the younger players are getting right. And it seems as if, you know, with all of these years of experience, they make it look as if you don't know what you're onion. That can be scary for the traditional players.
Yeah, so what it is that we are living in an age of disrespect. That's
disrespect. Oh my goodness.
I don't even say it in a condemnatory way. It is just what it is.
Okay.
These young people don't care about people don't care about legacy. They don't care about the experience. They don't. I mean, I knew how serious it was. I mean, I've always known, but it's not how serious it was. Look at Anna Wintour of Vogue apologizing. Look at the editor, the publisher of the New York Times, sacking his editorial page editor because the younger staff say they don't agree. So it has been an age for a long time. That's why certain celebrities fall into trouble, because they think there is an age of respect where you can just say your thing. These young people don't care. They don't care.
They don't. It's true. It's true. Even some of the young, even the fact that, you know, we now have Nigerian media influencers.
Yes.
I never thought a day will come where a young person will be termed a media influencer, and with defining the way people will live, talk, act, and young people are actually passionate about what this person is saying and following.
Yes. So I think that's the difference between us in Nigeria. I mean, this generation of newspapers are like the second generation. So the first generation was not really a lot. It was really, I think, Daily Times and Unite etc.
They were the ones who defined how governance and all of that should be, and the people in power actually could talk to them, really.
Yes. So now I want to see how this generation, which is really the second generation, adapts to change, because if you don't adapt, you will die. And what it means is that you have to.
If you don't adapt, you will die.
Yes. Yes, young people
drive culture.
Young people are the owners of culture, everything. Young people determine the dance steps that need to read, the language that needs. Young people are the owners of the culture. And now it's younger and younger, 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds. I mean, our website, the Beating Corona website on the future on the future project, is edited by an 18-year-old. He's the editor.
Are you serious?
He's the editor. You
know? How do you find them? How do you find them? Because it's amazing. Because I'm like, yes, I went into the media at a very young age myself. I was well at that time I felt I was young because I was 21.
Right.
You know, but now finding an 18-year-old, I thought I was 21. I was very young. I was actually very young when I got in.
Yes.
So seeing an 18-year-old actually being in charge.
Yes. So
it's amazing.
It's like I'm constantly looking for the brightest young talents. I'm like obsessed, because you know, it's very easy to think that, oh, because I'm young, and I'm like this 21, this 18 year, this 16-year-olds are the owners of the culture. So that's how it is. It's almost like I respect reality, and reality says the culture is driven by young people. So if you want to influence the culture, you have to understand young people intuitively. You have to try, and if you don't, you have to ask questions, open curiosity.
Okay. So can I ask you this, Chude? If you have been like I would term myself an old player trying to adapt to what is trending right now. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
You know, it's a real struggle. Now I have a lot of young friends. One of them is actually here. Is my young friend who is my
Hello.
He's my young friend who is also trying to help me with this thing that has to do with technology as it concerns passing information, communicating, and all of that. So it's like, are you saying now that the traditional players in the media might need to inject younger minds if they want to stay relevant?
Not just inject, surrender. Surrender.
Wow.
You need to.
Are you kidding me? Surrender. That's scary.
Surrender. I don't mean no. I mean in terms of, for instance, the experience in running a business, the experience in building relationships, all those things. Young people can. That one doesn't change. That one needs time. So leading businesses, veterans need to lead businesses, but veterans don't need to be the ones commissioning stories. They don't need to be the ones having writers. They need to surrender that to the people who. So for instance, a young person understands when they wake up in the morning. So you know, I live in the house with a young person, and from the moment the person knows this thing is about to happen. Now that's not something that you, unless you are in that space consuming that culture, that's not something you know instinctively. And to be honest, who wants to be? So sometimes I'll be like, I don't want to struggle to learn some of these things. Even me, I'm like, if I can hire somebody who knows the things, and I
thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one. You know, sometimes you like wake up and you go into the social media, different, you know, you go into different platforms. You know, I mean, for someone who's in the media, you're hungry for information, you're hungry to know what is new and all of that. And then when you go in there and you're reading stuff, you're seeing even language of communication. The way you used to write before is totally different. You're seeing them using language. I mean, when they started with bricks and mortars to describe buildings for fashion houses, you know, they no longer go for, you know, so I'm like, you know, these terms. I now agree with you when you say that it has to get to a point where you have to let them lead and you just be behind and watch.
That's it. And that's what you know, how international establishments keep themselves is that they maintain the whatever they want to maintain, ownership, business decisions, but they leave the substance to those who understand. That's why, you know, the New York Times will give the site to that's the publisher of the New York Times is 37 years old.
I know.
You know? And his father is still alive, but the father says, you know what, I can't run this, you take it. The New York Times ensures that once the New York Times, I think the Washington Post ensures that once the editor is once the editor-in-chief is 66 years old,
they must retire.
Yes, you know, the New York Times is surrendering its coverage on race to Nika Jones or whatever her name is because she understands the culture. So that's what it is. You go to Naomi Campbell's, you know, YouTube page, which I'm consuming these days. She's trying to inject. So it's that, and so this surrender thing is not even a new thing. It's just that it is now faster. It's now faster. But now, of course, the young people who succeed, who sustain their success, are those who understand the value of experience. So in 10 years, not everybody who is leading the game.
Now, Chude, let me ask you, if we were to advise a media practitioner right now, who wants to veer into the business of communication via, you know, journalistic communication, more or less, being a journalist, what would you say to the person to note if they want to even break grounds, not talk of even staying relevant, being relevant, but at least making an inroad? Because right now we have so many people who have blogs, who have other form of communication other than it being a newsprint, format, or being a TV or radio, what would you be telling such a person to before they venture?
Find the brightest young people. You know,
Still bothers down to it still boils down to young people.
Find the brightest young people who believe in the vision and who can deliver. You know,
I'm jotting what you're saying.
Because there are many young people who talk a good game and don't deliver. But there are a lot of them who deliver. So it's not just enough to be brilliant. Can you do what you say you can do? Find them and give them power.
Wow. Give them power.
Because young people these days want a lot of freedom, a lot of autonomy. Even in the organizations I run, I give a lot of autonomy. Sometimes you see people giving feedback. I need more autonomy. I'm like, do you want to? What other autonomy do you want? Do you want to collect me and control me? But that's the thing. Autonomy matters. So if people think that place I'm going to, you know, you have a young person who is like has worked for you for 6 months, brilliant young person, but it's like, oh, I want to fulfill my purpose. I'd be like, but you will first learn before you now start fulfilling the purpose now. But
exactly,
the truth is that if you lose that brilliant young person, you lose a lot. If you keep that brilliant young person, they can give disproportionate value. Because let me give an instance. A young person who is coming out of school now, many of the brightest young people can do video, edit video, take photos at the same time. So
wow,
they have a right to do shakara because it's a different time. It's a different time.
Oh my goodness.
So that's the thing. So it's like the people understand it, suspend their ego, and they're like, this is not about, I'm a professional, I'm a veteran, I know my onions. I just need to attract as many smart young people to help me know where I should be going. You know, the other day we're doing the strategy for one of our social media handles, and you know, we'd come up, all of us senior people would come up with all these beautiful ideas, and I say, you know what, we cannot decide until we call the guy who is in charge of social media into a meeting. And you know, he comes into the call and we say, everybody listen to him. And as we are listening to him, we just realized everything we decided was rubbish because he gave us insight that we were not even thinking about. And so,
oh my God,
that's the thing. The idea is that the way the media is structured now, the younger people have the power in so many important ways. And it's
I agree with you.
So, young people need older people to be sustained because that experience in building businesses and building relationships is crucial. But young people are the owners of the culture. And yes, there are a lot of them who are...
They are the owners of the culture.
Listen, you have to listen. You have to listen. So that's what it is. So it's to find the brightest young people and give them disproportionate power. Yes.
I would want us to just stop on that note today. I know you're very, 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 very busy, man. And for me to get you for the time I have gotten you, I am sure it's based on relationship.
Yes.
So I really, really, really,
call me.
I
will answer.
I really, really appreciate this. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Thank you.
And I'm sure everyone who's looked up with us this evening has learned one thing on it. I know we were talking about communication, but I'm sure anyone who is listening, who is a business-minded person, also realizes that all of this information also applies to them.
Yes.
Because you can take that and run with your own business as well. Because I have learned too that most of the time, you cannot continue to say, oh, it's my business. You're going to go bankrupt.
Yes.
You got to bring in bright minds and be able to listen and give them that free hand to at least express themselves. And most of the time, you find out that you're a winner when you allow those ideas to fly. The ideas just change things. I totally agree with you.
Right.
So I want to say thank you so much today for making our time to be with us this evening. It's been very eventful and insightful. And for everyone who joined us today, I want to say thank you for being a part of this evening. On that note, I want to say have yourself a lovely weekend. And I wish you the same to you today. Bye.
Yes.